Hello, ladies and gents. For people that have seen my Instagram story, the light bulb from my light that was broken decided to smash all over my laptop just before we went live today. So I'm pretty sure I have glass in my hands and there's glass on the floor, but the show continues. Also, as well, for people that didn't see the Instagram live, thank you everybody on the Patreon for the new custom stickers. They're looking sick. Anyway, let's get this show. God's sake, I've just ruined my laptop. Technical difficulties. Don't worry, we'll cut this bit out, even though it's a live podcast. But anyway, technical difficulties. Let's get this show on the road. Hello, Mike. Thank you for stopping in. Hello, Ben. Thank you for stopping in. Hello, Katie. Hello, Joe. Early gang, Dan. Hello, Logan. How you doing? Hello, Fee. Mr. Scandinavian Guana's in the house. How you doing, my friend? You okay? Oh, Jesus Christ, my computer's lagging. Mr. Riddler's Reptiles. Mr. Riddler's Reptiles is here. He's here for Roughneck Wars. Today we're gonna put it to the test. Who's best? Hello, Matt. How you doing? Wowzers! All the fake fans are here today. We've even got Mr. Will Exotic. His ears must have been burning because I was just talking about him off air. Hello, Michael. Hello, Touch. Thank you for joining in. 32 seconds behind thanks to ads. Well, what do you want me to do? I can't even keep the lights on anymore because I broke the light bulb. Everyone catch up, but that's fine. So first things first, shout out to the Bug Factory. Great guys and girls over there. If you guys want to get any of your live food needs in the UK, they're the cheapest that I found for bugs online. If you use Paul's-Monitors-5 at checkout, you should get 5% off your first order from already the cheapest bugs that I've found, as well as they do 100% recyclable refrigerator from refrigerators. Anyway, I haven't slept. My child was up having night terrors. None of you care. But anyway, links in the description. Check the Bug Factory out for sustainably growing your mealworms. Hello, Fred. How are you doing, my friend? Who else is here? I see Treetops. Thank you for tuning in. I think I might have seen you once or twice before, but thank you for tuning in. And then next, thanks to you guys. The Patreon Fellowship of the Varanus over here did a nice little surprise for me, and they shared. They made me share it live on Instagram. They got me some custom stickers. It's on my Instagram if anyone's interested to see. But I greatly appreciate everyone that's into the Patreon. If you are interested in supporting me a little bit more, the link is in the description, and you get entered into a private Discord where we can all just hang out and talk. And also as well, 30th episode. How about that, guys? We're on to bits. We're doing bits. So you know me. What's this like Bjorn Ironside when he's like fighting Ivor? You know me. I know you. I don't like this aliases. Fake fan. For some reason, I have a feeling who you are, but I'm not going to say because if I'm wrong, I'm going to look even more of a twat. Anyway, enough of that. Without further ado, everybody, let me bring it back to where I need to be. This has been a very shambolic intro, so we're going to get straight into the podcast. It's Mr. Aiden Bradley. Hello.
God.
Sorry that was a bit of a mess, mate. I'm just a bit rushed around at the minute. I can't lie. Things have I had so much time before this podcast, and I left it so late to set up, and then everything went wrong. But we're here now. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. I'm all right. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember asking you ages ago to come on, and you were like, and then you left me for the bigger channel, and then you're here now. I'm joking. But how was the trap talk? I'm still trying to get there myself. How was it? Was it a good experience?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
So if anyone is interested, Aiden's been on MJ's podcast, talking a lot about your Chondro game, which we'll touch on a little bit here. But if anyone's interested, I haven't linked it. I forgot. But go and check that out as well after you've done with this one. But yeah, how are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, been good. Chilling.
Good. What time is it there for you?
It's 12
Okay,
p.m.
right in the middle of the day.
midday. Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate you making time. I'm sure you're a busy man. You're a busy man.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Franco. I'll be buy myself a new light bulb now. Thank you, Franco. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for speaking to that. I love you as always. Right. Let's just get straight into these quick fire questions, mate. We'll get this thing going. I feel like I need. So we'll get into these quick fire questions. This first one's gonna be hard for you, I imagine. Snakes or lizards?
Um, I'm gonna have to say lizards, but it's really close.
That surprised me. That surprised me.
Like if I was to just have one, it would be lizard.
Yeah, yeah. Would it be monitor lizards or lizards?
Probably a monitor. Probably dumerils. Yeah.
Apparently my audio's off. All right, hang on. Let me just do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Is that good, everybody?
Sounds
I'm
good
gonna
to me.
keep. Okay, I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. Audio's bad. Oh, there we go. Apparently it's good. Oh well, we're carrying on. Anyone, let me know if it's bad, and then I'll have a look into it. Money or time?
Time. Yeah. Time is money.
No one's actually said that before. You're the first person to say that. Time is money. So yes, fair point. Mentally strong or physically strong?
um, can I say both or no? You gotta pick one.
You gotta pick one. Yeah.
um, Probably mentally.
Wild caught good. Wild caught bad.
Um, it depends, but I'm gonna say bad. Majority.
A lot of people do elaborate on that one. So if you want to elaborate on that one, I'll let you.
Um,
But a lot of people do
um,
tend to just elaborate.
just with some species, there's no captive bred ones, and to start, you need wild caught ones. So I would say that's the main exception.
Pro snake rack, no snake rack.
Um, I'm not against them, but I don't know. This is technically a rack right here for my baby green tree pythons, but I mean it's not like a ball python rack, I guess. But I don't know.
So they have a place, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Arid
For sure.
species or tropical species?
I like tropical ones more, but I keep both. I like both.
Okay, so you've said you watched the podcast, so you know that Fee asks a random question between two different animals for the guest. And
Yeah.
today she's picked for you starfish or seahorses.
Seahorses. Those are crazy.
Do you guys get seahorses? Because you're
I
California?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
Okay. Because I'm trying to. California is right on the beach as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know, but yeah.
It's
Okay,
like
yeah.
I'm like 40 minutes away from the beach. 30, 40.
Okay. Where were we there? Big reptiles or small reptiles?
Um, I like them both, but probably big ones.
Big monitors or dwarf monitors? And when I say that, I would class Dumerils, mangroves as small, even though they're medium.
Yeah.
I would class them as small. So
Yeah, I would
small or
say
big monitors?
I really like both, but small monitors, I guess. Better to keep.
Easier to keep.
Yeah.
Instagram famous or YouTube famous?
YouTube famous.
Money.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the shoes. Pro Crocs, no Crocs.
Crocs are dope. I haven't had any in a long time.
Feisty or tame?
Tame.
Wild types or morphs?
Wild type.
And then the last question, which is a new question. which originated last week. And I'm not expecting you to say Dumerils. You can if you believe that to be the answer. But the question is the best pet monitor.
Probably Ackies, one of the Dacia.
Yeah.
Dumerils aren't hard to keep. I would say they're one of the easiest tropical species to keep, for their size at least. But probably Ackies for the easiest.
Cool. That's a quick fire questions done, mate. Smashed it. You did a better job than Tyson, who took about an hour and 10 minutes to do the quick fire questions. So you did a good job. Okay, so let's just get straight into it, then, mate. If you'd like to introduce yourself, who you are, how you got into keeping, what you keep, sort of thing.
Yeah, my name's Aiden Bradley. From Southern California. Been keeping reptiles for over 10 years now. I don't even know.
Damn.
My dad got me and my brothers 2 Argus monitors when I was like 4 or 5, kindergarten, and he took care of them and stuff. But
yeah,
I remember we had them for a few years, and they were in an outside cage, and they freaking got out. They dug out. That sucked, but yeah, I've had monitors and reptiles for like a long time, 10 years plus. But yeah, just recently been getting more and more into reptiles the past few years.
So what changed then? If you've always sort of, because everyone sort of has that origin story. It sounds like you've always had the option to be a reptile keeper. What changed over the last couple of years to make you be like, yeah, this is what I want to do? Breeding and keeping, I guess. If you were saying that you only really got into it seriously over the last couple of years, but is breeding the answer? Was it? Is that why you wanted to? Is that why you wanted to level up, because you wanted to start breeding?
Not really, but I don't know. I just had I guess I have all kinds of different stuff like snakes and different lizards, but I don't know. I just started getting more and more into them, like learning more about them, and then eventually I wanted to breed dumerils. And then around that same time, or shortly after, I got my first green tree pythons, and then I paired those up those same year.
Because you've been having quite good success with both those species, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you? Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from you or put words in your mouth, but do you put a lot of that down to right place, right time, luck, or do you think you were quite prepared going into it?
I think I've been pretty lucky, but I think I've got the dumerils, at least with the pair that I have breeding. I think I've got it pretty down with them at this point. With the green tree pythons, I think I got pretty lucky, but I don't know.
Because I can't quite remember it, but there's a bit of a story in how you got into the green tree pythons, isn't there? Was it your uncle or someone that gave you one or something? Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad's uncle, he's my great uncle, I guess that makes him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been breeding them since the '90s, early '90s, and he's old and he doesn't really breed them anymore, and so he's just been getting rid of a bunch of animals.
And then he was like, "Do you want a bunch of green tree pythons?" You were like, "Yeah."
I actually asked him. I was like researching a lot about him, and I hit him up, and he offered some. I was like, all right.
So, what is it? Well, before we get into the monitors and stuff, what is it about the green tree pythons that sort of made you stick with them rather than? Because I'm assuming you've obviously had other species of snake in the past. So, what is it about the green trees that you're like, right? Yeah, these are it for me.
They're pretty easy to keep, and they're just crazy. Like the color change. I don't know. I've seen them in books since I was a little kid. They're just I don't know, crazy snake.
You know, something that I always sort of think with green tree pythons, and I'm not in that world, so maybe you could elaborate for me. But like, when I think of a green tree python, I'm thinking of this like gorgeous green animal perched in the middle of the rainforest. That sort of image, do you
Yeah,
think of that low sweeping vine and the green tree
yeah,
pythons in the middle, and there's nothing but like rainforest behind it. Um,
exactly.
how come they're not kept like that? Like, I know it's functional and all of that
Yeah,
stuff, but is that the only reason? Just because it's functional, it's a nightmare to keep. Because I've never kept them, so I'm not
I've
gonna be like, oh, but
I've never tried to keep them like that. I've been really thinking about it with some that I've hatched, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not the norm and like the hobby of green tree
no,
pythons. Like,
exactly. I just wondered
yeah,
why, because I've never spoken to a green tree python keeper.
yeah. I
Um,
honestly think about it often. Like, I don't know. I feel like we should give them more options, bigger
mm,
enclosures, but I don't know. It'd be hard to do with this many animals. But I'm probably gonna
yeah,
end up trying it out with a couple that I've hatched.
it could be interesting, especially for the neonates because they are
Yeah,
smaller. And you can give them thinner branches, more opportunities to bask, more
yeah,
opportunities to thermoregulate, more opportunities to display naturalistic behaviors.
yeah,
Um, but again, like I say, I was only curious because I've never spoken in detail to a chondro keeper. I know a couple of people that have had them or have them, but they're not breeders. They just keep one or two.
yeah,
Um, and even then, when you see people like keeping one or two, they tend to be in the white
yeah,
tubes. Even like, and there's a reptile zoo in the UK called Crocodiles of the World, and they have I don't want to paraphrase the size, but it's something like a 10 foot long, 6 or 7 foot tall, like 2 foot deep, just planted jungle.
that's
And
sick.
then one side is a green tree python, and the other side is an emerald tree boa. And obviously they're not in the same enclosure. There's a
Yeah,
divider, but it's one wall, and then one cage is a green tree python,
yeah,
the other cage is emerald tree boa, and that's how I envision it. Almost like you'd set up a Prasinus, like a green tree monitor. You'd be like, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I was just curious. Well, that was the only reason I was asking. I was just curious, but it'd be cool if you could set up some babies like that, just to sort of see if they did go, oh, what the fuck, or if they were like, oh, this is kind of cool, but you
Yeah.
don't know, do
I
you? So
think if it had the proper ventilation and stuff, I don't think there'd be any big problems with respiratory. That's what a lot of people like trip out about respiratory
mm,
problems and like fungal problems. But I mean, I keep the monitors like that. I don't really have issues like that at all. But
no.
yeah, I'll probably give it a shot.
So what? I don't know. So the ambient humidity you're looking at roughly for a green tree python is what, like 80%? I don't know.
For the
Or is it?
babies, it's like that. Yeah, 60 to 90%,
Mm.
and the adults is like 60% most of the time, unless they're
Oh,
shedding.
okay.
Everyone,
Yeah.
like every 2 weeks, I'll spray them, and it probably gets
Yeah.
up to like 80, 90% maybe for a day. But this room is like 60% humidity all the time.
Yeah. Same as my room. It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you. Wow, we're gonna be rich after this one. Um, Paul needs to buy new lights. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I was just curious because I'm not. I probably never. I'm not gonna say never. I'm still young, but I'm not gonna own a green tree python in any time in the near future. Um, but I am very fascinated by them as snakes. I find them very, very beautiful, and like you say, the octogenic color change that they go through. Like for me,
Yeah.
I love burgundy, so like a red burgundy baby snake for me is perfect.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's some really crazy colors and patterns that you can get nowadays of the green tree pythons. So maybe one day, but I think I would be one of those weird keepers that kept it completely naturalistic and just to sort of see how it went down. But
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
yeah, we'll see. But on that then, Dumerils monitors, complete change of gear, because that's sort of what we're here to talk about. How did you get into Dumerils monitors? How did you originate getting your first one?
Yeah. So I think it was 2019. I had a reticulated python, like a young female, and I traded it for a Dumerils on Craigslist. And
That's so
I had
mad.
it. I had it for like a year. It was in too small of a cage, and I was pretty much just feeding it rodents and stuff.
Hmm.
And then I started to do research. I found like Kai and Alan's podcast,
Yeah.
and I started listening to a bunch of stuff, and then started keeping her right in a bigger cage. and then I ended up getting a male. I think that was 2021, end of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and then she laid her first clutch like January 4th of 2022, and then she just been going since. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got into
So I obviously don't know your background, but I can speak for myself. I'm very guilty of getting animals, getting bored of them, getting another animal, getting a new one, getting bored of it. But then I got my Indicus Mango, and I was like, "This is it. This is the one." Did you
it.
feel like that with Dumerils, or were you a bit like, "Nah, they're just cool"?
Yeah, that's how I felt, especially after like learning more about them and stuff.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
Because they've got again, I don't know too much about them, so I'm not going to pretend that I do. They've got like a unique teeth structure, if I'm thinking correctly. They're more like
Yeah,
flat crushing, aren't they?
yeah. In the
Yeah.
back especially.
Mm.
It used to be thought that they didn't have sharp teeth like at all, but they have sharp teeth. So
Have you taken a bite or not yet?
yeah, a little one from my big male. He just got the
Oh,
tip of my finger, and like it went right through my fingernail, and it took like a
nice.
couple months to go back. But yeah, I got lucky, I think.
Yeah, I've been nabbed once by Mango, which was pure happenstance, and she just come across my finger like that and just three clean razor blade slices, but that was it. I was like, that could have been so much worse. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I don't want to go straight into breeding yet because I feel like there's so much more. Dumels eat a lot of snails. Now, let's talk on that then. Diet. You said you were feeding a lot of rodents at the start. What have you sort of switched up to your diet now?
It's mainly shrimp, but I don't feed them rodents anymore. Or the babies, I'll feed them a pinky every once in a while. But
Hmm.
the adults, it's chicks, like chicken, day-old chicken chicks, or shrimp, crawfish, um, crabs, frog legs, all kinds of different stuff. I don't really feed them insects at all, but I think they eat like big roaches or big grasshoppers.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you'd have to feed them so many.
Yeah. I feel
But
that.
mainly shrimp and like crawfish.
And then in the wild, is that pretty much their natural diet? Are they digging up like
Yeah,
that sort of stuff?
a lot of
Because
crabs
yeah,
from what I've heard. Yeah.
yeah. Are you getting to the Asian supermarkets and getting the little tiny crabs? I'm still trying to find them over here. Or
I
you?
can't. I can't get. I haven't found those over here, but I have
Yeah.
got them. I've ordered some, and Kai's friend got some before. I forget his name, but I got some of those from him too. But I haven't found any myself. Just shrimp and crawfish.
Yeah. Similar to what I feed the mangroves, then, to be fair.
Yeah.
Um, do you find there's a certain food that they go more crazy for, or are they pretty consistent across the board?
Um, I would say probably like shrimp, crustaceans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, chicks. Mango goes crazy for chicks. She'll go crazy for everything, but if I'm giving her chicks, which isn't that often, but if I give her
Yeah.
chicks, she goes psycho for chicks. Like she loves chicks.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I'll feed her shrimp, feed her bugs, feed her crab. Every now and then I'll give her. Oh, have we lost him?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. I just got a call.
no, you're fine. You're fine. Um, but yeah, so for some reason, I literally posted a video on Instagram like 2 days ago of her chasing a chick, and it's gone crazy.
Oh
It's on
yeah,
like
I
a
think I
hundred.
saw that.
It's on like 100,000 views. It's mad.
Damn.
It's like just out of nowhere. People obviously love like seeing Mango chasing chicks. But yeah. Anyway, I digress. Um, how often roughly are you feeding? Do you have a feeding schedule? Do you feed daily? Do you mix it up?
It's not really a schedule, but it's like normally like every 2 to 4 days.
Hmm.
Fresh, fresh babies, I feed them every day a little bit. But once they're like a couple months old, they do every other day for babies.
Yeah. Probably similar to what I would do. To be fair, because I just mix it up. Um, And then I'm interested as well. Do you season them? Do you like starve them through the winter like Kai does with the mangroves, or?
No, not really. They definitely eat less just because the ambient and like surface temperatures are lower, and they just digest
Mm.
less. So I feed them less, but um, not like a dormant period.
Okay. Yeah. I don't do a full shut off. I'll do like you say, it cooling down. I'll feed slightly less.
Yeah,
Have you had clutches in? Have you had clutches like year round, or do they have a shut off period?
yeah. She laid her first one in January, and those
Yeah,
were all slugs. And then the second one was April, and those were all good. But didn't have a good incubator, and those all went bad.
that sucks.
And then the next one, I think they were August. Yeah, August. And then that
Mm.
was the first clutch that hatched. But then she laid another clutch after August. It would have been like November or December.
So
She
they get
lays
year
like
round.
every 100 days, like almost exactly.
So I'm gonna bring up my note because I've got it written down, like because I take quite good notes.
Yeah,
So I've had similar experience. So just this year, including the very end of last year, Mango laid on the 25th of December. 90 days later, she laid on the 25th of March. But then before the clutch of the 25th of December, 90 days prior. So she was 90 days eggs to eggs, 90 days eggs
yeah,
to eggs, 90 days eggs to eggs, like 4 times 90 days.
yeah.
And then she went 67 days eggs to eggs. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why have you done
Damn.
this? And now she's
And that's
cycling at the
that's with
minute.
no male.
And it's
Just
no, just her. Yeah, she's never I've had her for 3 years. She
yeah,
started laying eggs 2 years ago. Um, and to my knowledge, she'd never been introduced to a male. She had a male counterpart. The guy I got her from had a pair, her and the male, but I didn't have space for both. And he was like, "Oh, I think they're two females anyway," and never introduced them. So to my knowledge, she's never met a male. But she she ovulated on the 28th of July, and she's roughly about 10 days from ovulation to eggs. So she should be laying in the next 2 or 3 days, which will put her at 69 days if she lays in like 2 days' time.
damn.
Um, so she's got 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 67 days. And then obviously she hasn't laid yet, but I'm guessing it'd be between 67 and 69 days. And I don't know
Damn.
what's caused her to like drop because she's got 90, 90, 90, 90, all of a
Yeah,
sudden
that's
67.
interesting.
But this is eggs to eggs. This isn't, for example, eggs to start of
Yeah,
fertilogenesis. It's eggs to eggs. But
yeah,
it's year round for me as well. It's every 90 to 100 days, like you say, it's year round.
yeah.
And I don't know what the stimulus is. I don't know why she's doing it. Because, like you say, do you find your male is a catalyst for why your female
I
cycles?
yeah. It seems like it. It's always like 30 days after they first lock that she lays. That she lays.
Mm.
I think if I
But
didn't pair them up, I don't know if she would lay. I don't know though. I've been thinking about trying that.
okay, so that answers my question then. They don't live together, you have them separate.
Yeah,
Mm. And you only introduce what, like 80 days after she lays, something like that.
yeah. Normally it's like 60 to 70.
Yeah.
Today's like it's been like 65 days since her last clutch, and she kind of looks like she's cycling again.
Mm.
So I might pair them up again, but I don't know.
So a couple of things there. But let's just go into, so what are you looking out for when you're saying she's cycling? Because I know what I'm looking out for Mango, but for people sort of
Yeah,
looking into fertilogenesis with monitors,
yeah,
and for people that wonder what I'm talking about, it's basically the start of a reproductive cycle.
yeah,
Um, what sort of things are you looking out for? Because I imagine dumerils are similar to mangroves, and they're not that obvious.
yeah. It's not super obvious, and I really don't know if I'm 100% right, but
Mm.
she like gets lazy, like she'll look like tired, I guess, and she normally never basks like at all, and she basks when she's cycling,
Mm.
and she's a little more like hungry than normal, but she's always super hungry, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
and a little bit of swelling, but not a lot.
Yeah, I find that with my so how long does that last? Is that so for mango it's just one
Um,
day and that's it.
yeah, it was like 2 days, and
Mm.
now the swelling's gone. I haven't seen her bath, but I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, so mango day one, like you say, they'll be very lazy, and it's very easy for me to tell because as soon as I walk into the room, she'll try to kill me, and if she doesn't try to kill me, then I'm like, okay, she's starting to cycle, so
Yeah,
that's good. And then she's about 10 or 12 days from the start of cycle to ovulation. She'll ovulate, get huge. Like this ovulation she just had lasted 2.5 days, and I actually thought something was wrong with her because I'd never seen her so big, and
yeah,
she was proper like twitching herself, like trying to like get weight off her stomach. I was like, oh my god, is this ovulation or is this like what? Um, and then
yeah,
yeah, after 2.5 days, out of nowhere, she's back to being a lean, skinny killing machine. And then she's about 10 days after ovulation, and she ovulated last Friday. So, like I say, in any day I should get eggs. But even when she lays, I don't know about the Dumerils, but even when she lays, she doesn't lose any body composition. You wouldn't really be able to tell. There's a slight little bit of loose skin, but that's it.
yeah. That's how mine is. It's like it's pretty hard to tell.
How many
It's
eggs
crazy.
roughly are you getting in a clutch?
The lowest has been 8, and the most was 14 or 15.
Oh, they have quite big clutches then.
Yeah, I've heard of
Yeah.
23.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I guess that was a big female.
I mean, I've had 3 to 7. So 7 was the
Yeah.
biggest. She's
But the
28 inches total length, so she's tiny.
yeah, the Dumerils eggs are tiny though, and the mangrove eggs are like I've seen
Huge.
Kai's. They're giant.
Yeah, they're like
The
size of the palm of
Dumerils are
my
like
hand.
a tree monitor egg or a little bit bigger than a tree monitor egg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're little.
Do you know how big rudicolous eggs are? They seem similar
They're
size.
they're bigger than the Dumerils, but they're not real
Okay.
big. Yeah,
No. Okay. Okay. Just curious because I
yeah,
haven't really seen. I need to message Rob Fox and see if he wants
yeah.
to come on and talk rudicolous at some point. But yeah, okay. Damn, I didn't realize. In my head, I was expecting you to say somewhere between like 5 and 10. I don't know why. I guess I was basing off indicas, but
Yeah,
that's a big
her last
clutch.
clutch was 8. It's weird. She was laying more and more eggs each clutch, except for this last one. She laid like 4 less than the previous one.
Do you think that was to do with anything you did, or do you think that was just a case of she just laid
Um,
less?
I don't know.
Because
I,
I find with Ackies, the more I breed them, the less eggs I get. Obviously, they produce in over for a
yeah,
season. They start to burn themselves out. Obviously, but with Mango, the more I've haven't bred her, she just lays eggs. But
yeah,
the clutches have got bigger and bigger and bigger every single time, and I'm like, well, why? Like, what are you trying to achieve? But I know, which I don't understand, because she started out with 3, then she had 4, then she had 5, then she had 6, then she had 7.
yeah.
And I was like, what? Like,
That's how mine
so
was.
yeah,
It was
it's so
8,
strange.
10, 11, 12, and then 14, and then 8. Pretty weird.
So why are you tempted not to pair up this time around just to see what
Um,
happens?
yeah, I guess just see if she'll still lay, like maybe from retained sperm or something, still lay a clutch, or just to give her a break.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
found obviously completely different, but I found with Ackies, even if you pull the male, they just lay and then they lay a
yeah.
bunch of slugs.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did that.
Have they been proven to be parthenogenetic? I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
They must be, surely. Every other bloody monitor seems to
Yeah, I
be.
feel like they've got to be.
Because, again, I don't want to get this wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. Is his name Ben Stiller? Ben, no, that's an actor.
Ben Aller.
Ben Aller, right.
Yeah.
He's the guy that bred your
Yeah.
male?
Female. Older
Female,
female. Yeah.
F. I'm not
7.
going to say F7, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in there somewhere. F7 is mad.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
for people that
crazy.
don't know, but that basically means a 7th generation captive bred.
Yeah.
My
That's
question
like
is, no, go on.
that, that's like where nerds water monitors are now. New England Reptile.
Hmm.
They have like super far generation captive bred water monitors, and they're like F7 right now.
So this Ben guy,
Just crazy.
is he still about doing it or not really?
So this female was his last one, and
Right.
he loaned her to me to try to breed, and then I sent him some babies for my other pair. But I got 3 babies from that female from him, and I'm gonna give him one and his female back, probably within the next month or
Okay.
so. Yeah,
So then that puts you back down to a 1.1.
yeah. But
And
she
you
doesn't
and your
even breed for
babies.
me right now. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Is this the female and the male you were telling me about off air?
yeah,
So yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I
So
I've
you
tried
have. I got.
I've tried putting her with another male, and I mean the one that she got like that she laid a clutch from, she got along with, but I can't get that male anymore. But I've tried her with another male, and nothing came from that.
So are you the only one at the moment stateside doing Dumerils?
Um, as far as I know, yeah, hatching him. I think
Yeah.
There's definitely a few people trying to breed him, but I've never heard of anyone hatched any yet. Hatched any.
Are you interested in obviously getting those people along the way so you can swap bloodlines, or are you like, I'm just
Yeah.
happy with what I've got?
No, yeah, I'd definitely be down to do that. Ben Aller is gonna try to breed them again, I think, with some of the babies that I give him. And then there's another guy who has bred them before who's trying again.
Why do you think there's not so many people working with them?
I feel like not a lot of people know about them, but also I guess they're just not. People don't think they look like super attractive as adults, but
No.
I don't know. That's the main reason I think.
So if you were to sell me right now, I was like, I'm looking to get a monitor. I want a mid-sized monitor. I'm thinking about a mangrove. So you were going to sell me on Dumerils. What would your key selling points be?
I don't know. I just think they're more hardy than a mangrove, all around, like temperature wise, humidity wise, like I don't know. I think that's the main thing. I think they're definitely way less skittish too.
I'd
There's
agree
one.
with that.
There's a little baby one right here trying to come out.
How are the babies? Are they social? Are they pretty?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this good.
I'm going to put you on full screen somehow.
Is it upside down?
No,
He's
no,
trying
you're
to-
good.
He's
I'm
trying
just
to
gonna
bite me. Thinks I'm feeding him.
Purchase. Oh, mate, that's sick. How old is that one?
Just over 6 months. This is from the first clutch.
I mean, I've got 6 mangroves. I can't do that. I know they're captive bred, but I can't do that with a single one.
Yeah, they're super chill. Even their parents. This one's both its parents are imports, and they're super chill like this.
They go for the color change quite quickly then.
Yeah, this one's definitely still going through it, but it's lost all that bright orange.
I mean, interesting to know. Have you got any theories to why they have that bright orange head?
I think it's just to look venomous or poisonous or whatever. Just to look.
Yeah.
edible or
Don't eat
whatever.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't eat me. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty sick. Just seeing like a baby. Do you? So I'm again. I'm sort of chopping and changing everywhere. But when you get the babies hatched, do you go in there and just pick them up, play with them, or do you pretty much just leave them be and they're just naturally curious anyway?
I think they're definitely naturally curious, but I do play with them a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I definitely have noticed a difference with like the ones that I don't play with more or have out more or whatever. They
More shy.
yeah, more
Yeah,
skittish. Yeah.
that's interesting. The adults, do you play with them much or do you leave them to it?
Yeah, I leave them to it most of the time. I used to take them out and stuff a lot before I hatched any babies, but now that I have the babies, I just I just take them out.
We're still not sure exactly who IC Treetops is. The mystery man or woman, um, or they them. We don't discriminate here at Pause Monitors. Um, I think it'd be quite hard to get them over here. Get his paperwork over here.
Would that be like the same to get them to Canada? Probably.
I think it's a little bit more involved, but yes,
It is.
yeah, yeah. Are you looking to actually forget everything else? I've just had a brain. I remember you sent one to Mr. Brian Barczyk, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I just sent him one.
How did that come? I
MJ.
watched the video, but how did it come about?
Yeah. MJ from Trap Talk got me in contact with him. And
Okay.
I just hit him up and asked if they wanted one for Reptarium. He was like,
That's
yeah.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration behind that for yourself?
I don't know. They're not really in any like zoos or reptile like zoos like that at all. And I know it would do good there. They'd take good care of it there. I sent one to I don't know if you know Reptilandia in Texas.
Yeah, I've heard of
Ari
it. Yeah,
Flagel and Quetzal
yeah, yeah,
Dwyer. I sent
yeah.
one over there also.
That's
Same time.
sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. And like you say, it's good exposure for them.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think more and more I know who this person is. Just need proof of captive breeding. You usually want them as F2. You're fine. You've got an F9 male, female, whatever, female. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Do you know, would the babies technically be F1 from her since she was with a wild caught male?
I would class that as F1. Yes.
F1, right? Yeah.
I would say it's F1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
could be wrong.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah.
what I consider it.
Yeah.
I have 3 babies from her, but yeah, I'd consider them F1.
Yeah. I mean, not saying anybody to do this, but you could definitely lie to say the parents were like F1.5. You could lie and say the babies are the parents are like both from the same clutch or whatever, so they're both F9, so they'd be technically F10 or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty mad. The fact the whole I mean, it could be. So walk me through it, really, because I imagine, obviously, I don't know. I'm hoping to follow a similar journey. I know it's not the first time that Dumerils have been done, but like, walk me forward sort of the journey that you've been on with it. Because all of a sudden you've got this Dumerils that you swapped for this retic, and then you're like, yeah, he's cool. Have a rat, and then all of a sudden you start taking it seriously. And now you're like the go-to guy, and you're producing loads of them. Like, how's this all for yourself? Like, how are you finding it?
I don't know. It's crazy. It's changed a lot in like the past year, but yeah, I don't know. Just started
You've had a
taking
lot
care
of
of them, right?
success in a short space of time.
I think I've gotten lucky with how compatible this pair is too. I think so. Just based on pairing up the other female, I think I got lucky with how compatible the import pair is. Yeah.
So, with Dumerils then, from obviously what you've seen, you do think there is some level of pair bonding, almost like with mangroves and bits and bobs. They're a bit more.
Yeah.
They're a bit more reluctant to breed in comparison to, say, like Ackies.
Yeah, I would say so. For sure.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I asked you off air, but is it rude to ask how old you are?
No, I'm 18. I'll be 19 in a few months.
Mad. I mean, first, just want to say now, I normally do a little bit at the end where I sort of say nice things to the guests, but the fact that you're 18 and you're achieving what you're achieving now is like, it's actually one. I can speak for myself, but I would have loved to have been doing what you were doing at 18.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
because I'm just shy of 10 years older than you, because I turned 29 this month. So if you're turning 19 soon, so I'm just shy of 10 years older than you. And I've only really started the journey that you would have started a year and a half ago, and I've just started it now. So fair play to you for like getting on.
Yeah.
Like, what's next though? What's the plan next? Where are you going next?
I don't know.
Do you not
I
think
just
about it?
graduated. I might go to like the community college next year, but I'm not really sure.
What you're planning on studying?
I don't know. Probably like it'd be like biology or something like that.
Okay. I mean, not having a heading is exciting though. Like, I didn't have a heading. I don't have a heading now. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Trying to be a podcaster, but here we are. Like, I'm nearly 30 and I don't have a clue what I want to do. Like, all I knew is I wanted to work with animals. That's all I knew. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of us. I think it's scary if you know exactly what you want to do, like to
Yeah.
the T. Unless it's outside of a job, like, I don't know, a policeman or a firefighter or something, because then it's sort of a obvious line of direction.
Yeah.
Your next challenge is Rudicolis.
Yeah, I want some. Once Rob Fox hatches some, I think we're gonna trade a couple Dumerils for Rudy's.
That's
But
exciting.
yeah, once he hatches some. But I'll probably just get one from him and then pair it with an import later on.
The mystery man, woman, they, them. Yeah, there are great things ahead of you. Keep up your amazing work.
Thank you.
Whoever you are, you got to message me and be like, it's me, because I have a feeling I know who this is, but I don't want to be like, oh, that was you. And then this person's like, what the fuck are you on about? Again, completely changing gears, because we've sort of skipped over it. Let's if anyone's sort of thinking about getting a Dumerils, obviously message Aiden. Get captive bred always. But how are you sort of setting up your babies?
Yeah.
Let's start with babies going into adults. How are you sort of setting up babies? What would you recommend size wise if someone was to buy a baby from you?
I would say anywhere from like 2x2 to like 4x2 is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep mine. This is a 3x2 by 18 inches tall. So you guys go by meters over there, huh? So it'd be 1 meter.
No, we're three
Um,
by two. We don't do meters. We do either inches or 3x2 by
oh,
1.5. That's fine. Yeah.
all
And I
right,
can
cool.
convert for the most part for the rest of the audience. But yeah, we
Yeah,
do feet. We're fine.
yeah. So these
I
are
think
3x2 by 1.5. What I keep my babies in.
What sort of temps are you keeping the babies at? Temperature, basking spot, as well as like the ambulance.
So fresh babies, the basking spot's like 190 to 100, and then after like a month or two, it goes up to like 120, and that's pretty much where I have it at now. And the adults is like 130, 140, but they have a cool side. It gets like low 70s, low mid 70s, even at the hottest point of the day. They have that option, but there's temperatures all between that.
Do
Like
you find
80s,
they seek
90s.
out? You find they seek out the cooler spots like Indicus, or are they more heat loving?
It seems like they like to be like 80 to 85 degrees most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes cooler, and they bask sometimes, but not a whole lot. They like to be like 85-ish. But yeah, I give them options from 70 to like 120.
And then as that baby starts to grow up, we're now roughly at say a year old. What sort of size enclosure would you say would be an
Yeah.
okayish size? Obviously, every animal's going to grow at a different rate, but
Yeah.
what sort of size are we going into for a roughly a year old?
So my oldest ones are like 6.5 months, but I would say at a year old, probably like a 4x2x2 would be fine for one. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at 1 to 2 years, that growth is probably going to be a lot. So I would probably just put them in like an adult enclosure at that point,
Mm-hmm.
like 8x4x2 or 8x4x4,
Mm-hmm.
8x3x3. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
And then how much are you finding they climb? Are they strictly terrestrial or do they like to climb?
They're pretty arboreal. I have
Mm.
cork tubes like situated arboreal and on the ground, and they always use them up high.
Mm-hmm.
And the basking platforms I use are arboreal for most of them. This baby one in front of me is not, but the adults are all arboreal basking. Um,
Have you
but yeah,
tried
they
ground basking with the adults as well, or just arboreal?
no, I haven't. I think it would be kind of hard because it's too
Yeah,
tall.
you have to run the
Yeah, there'd be like a light
yeah,
midway in the enclosure.
and they're
I guess
swinging
that
on
wouldn't be
that.
too bad, but yeah,
Yeah, they'll probably find a way to get on it and break it, like I did the light
yeah,
bulb earlier, for sure.
yeah,
They always do.
yeah, yeah. This one keeps trying to get out. I'm gonna let him out.
I didn't think we'd get this today, ladies and gentlemen. Do you find that some are like that one then? Because obviously every animal's an individual. Do you find some are just they really take to you, or do you think they could all be
Um,
like that with work?
I think they could all easily be like this with just a little
Mm.
bit of work, but some of them definitely like to come out more. Some are definitely more skittish, but only like two of the ones that I've held back are like skittish.
Do you think they're more likely to be female?
The skittish ones,
Mm.
maybe for the adults, it's definitely like that. The males are out more, just all around, more chill.
You seem to find that in a lot of the Veranids.
Yeah,
Just chilling with like one of the you're the only person right now with captive bred, no? Like
yeah.
babies.
In
Yeah.
in the U.S., as far as I know, there's someone in Denmark who he hatched one clutch.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I didn't know.
in
I didn't know that. To be fair,
2022.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize
Yeah,
there were people working with them seriously in Europe. I can't say that I've looked, but that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
His name's Esben Peterson.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah,
Does he post on Facebook?
yeah. I forget. He has like some sort of like company name, but I forget what it is.
Okay, the name does ring a bell. That was going to be my next question, Amy. And for the adults, roughly what sort of size are you looking at?
So the mom of this one is about 2.5 feet, but I think she's kind of stunted because she was kept wrong early on. But normally, I would say 3 feet for a female and like 4 feet for a male.
Mm.
But I've heard of 5 feet or more. But I would
Could,
say 3 to 4 is most common.
again, my brain's drifting everywhere. I just had a random flashback. Clint's Reptiles has Dumerils, doesn't he?
I think I heard that one passed away. Actually, he had one.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right. That's sad. But I remember he had one that was a bit of an arsehole.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. But that was a while ago, to be fair.
It's weird that the F7 female is the most wild, like crazy one that I have out of all my Dumerils. It's kind of weird.
It's almost like they get worse as the more captive bred they get.
I don't know
Hey,
if Ben didn't handle her a lot or what, but
it's
she
fine. You've
just she
reset back
just
to
turned
captive
9. Yeah,
9.
she just turned
Jesus,
9. Yeah,
and she's still a bitch.
Yeah. I think
It's
my
fine.
other female is probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5, probably 5-ish actually.
How long have you had her for?
2019. So
Coming
how
4
long is
years.
that? Yeah, she's definitely like 5 or 6 then, because she was changed color and a decent size when I got her.
But she wasn't an adult when you got her. Was she sub-adult?
Yeah, I'd say she's a sub-adult. She's grown a little bit.
So sexual maturity then, right around 3, 4 years old.
Yeah, I would say probably. Actually, I've heard of Ben told me females have bred at 2 for him, and
Okay.
I think males even younger, but I'm not sure.
Do you find it hard having a species with not a lot of information out there on?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. Like now I know a lot like about Dumerils, but before they're like all there was like if you look up online it would say like just random websites that have like
Yeah,
generic
care
info.
guides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like that care guide.
yeah.
But then I found a few people that have bred them and talked to them, got good info. And but yeah, if it was something like with better info out there, more info, it would have been a lot easier, I think.
Is that something you're hoping to do, or is it not your field to play?
I don't really know. Like I try to post a lot of info in like my Instagram posts and
Yeah.
stuff, but then like if people hit me up, I don't hide information. I tell them whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Publishing anything would be cool.
So just on care then, let's just touch on a few things with care. We've touched a little bit on diet, we've touched a little bit on temperatures and stuff. What sort of humidity are you keeping on these guys?
It's pretty high. It's I don't have a measuring thing in there, but it's probably like 80% in spots, probably 60 at the low spots. And there's like spots that are like moist to the touch
Mm.
and spots that are dry. I try to give them hides that are dry on the ground, like hides that are moist on the ground and hides that are dry, and then same thing arboreal. Just so they
So
have
they can
that option.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you find that they like the most? The as a
Um,
general, the dry or the wet?
it seems like more drier, especially arboreal, and then they sometimes they'll burrow, but it's pretty rare when they like get into the moist substrate.
How much substrate are you giving them roughly?
The male has like 8 or 9 inches, and that's like a 2 by 2. It's like a mortar tub,
Mm-hmm.
and then the females have like 2 feet, almost foot and a half. They have a bunch of substrate.
Because you, again, I could be wrong, because I think you were running external nest boxes.
That yeah, on the one, this one's mom. She has an external nest bin, and
Do
then
you
this one behind me has nesting inside the enclosure.
nesting nest bin or nesting whole cage nesting?
It's like half cage nesting, and there's a nest bin.
Because I've just come to this sad realization. Because I have a submerged nest bin in Mango's enclosure, and then I have. There probably is maybe 1.5 feet of soil in the whole enclosure. And I kind of realized that she can lay wherever she wants now, and I don't really know how I'm going to find the eggs because before she was just in a nest box, and now she has the nest
Yeah,
box as well as the whole cage. And she's
yeah.
been digging tunnels through the whole cage, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be a nightmare if she doesn't lay in the nest box.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping she lays where the heat is, which will either be just in front of the nest box or in the nest box. So hopefully I
Yeah.
don't have to. I mean, for the most part, they're going to be slugs. I'm still praying for that parvo egg, but so it's not the end of the world if I don't find them. But when I eventually do get a male, I'll be like, oh my god, like where are these eggs?
Yeah.
You find that yours mainly uses the nest box, or does she use? Well,
Um,
what do you think is better, the external or the internal?
um, I think it would work either way, but I think the way I have the external one set up, the female really likes it.
Mhm.
Just it seems really secure. There's like a corrugated tube, like maybe 3 or 4 inches, and it goes from the nest box to the enclosure, and that's probably a foot long. So there's like a little tunnel that she goes through. I feel like that makes her feel real secure, but she's nested in this enclosure behind me too, in like open floor nesting, and she
Mhm.
laid under like a little, like half cork log, but like a foot and a half under.
Damn.
Yeah.
Finding that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I knew exactly where like I saw her burying the eggs, but they were pretty deep, and I had to get in the enclosure in this one to dig them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have Mango in she was in an 8x3x3 with a nest box under her basking site, so it doubled up as a basking platform. Take the lid off it, and
Yeah.
then you it in the nest box. But because I have a Viv on top of her Viv, I couldn't take the glass out to then get into the nest box, so I had to just go in there with the lights, like, and I'm kept like going up and scorching my hair, and I'm so glad I can get in the enclosure now and dig it rather than just
Yeah.
like just like this facing dirt. Like, it's not. People don't realize how hard it is sometimes trying to do this. So with an Aki, it's all right. You got the little nest box, boom. You get into these bigger monitors, and you're like, oh my god, like so much dirt you have to move.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
going to
it's
be
crazy.
my next question. My mystery man, lady person. What temperature is the soil where you're finding the eggs? Do you temperature gun where you find the eggs?
Yeah. So it's been like anywhere from 83 to like 87 or 88 even. She's
I'm
laid
just
them
going to
at pretty
convert
warm
that.
spots.
So 83 degrees Fahrenheit to
Yeah.
Celsius for my British people.
I would say that's the
I've,
more commonly where she would lay them.
so between 28 degrees and then what were you saying, 88?
Yeah, that's the hottest I've measured.
So
She's laid
between
them.
28 and 31 degrees. Pretty similar to Indicus as well then.
Yeah.
To be fair, because mine is right around those sort of temperatures. And do you find they always go deep, or do you find sometimes they nest shallow?
Yeah. They she always nests. I mean, one time she's nested like 6 inches deep, but it's never like just laid on top of the soil or nothing like that.
Hmm. So your whole enclosure nesting then, is it heated from the enclosure below, or is it the bottom enclosure
Nah,
that's the female?
it's the bottom enclosure, but there's a heat pad in there.
Oh, okay.
Both for
You got
the
it on the side for the
yeah,
nesting. Yeah, is it on the
for the
side or
half
is it?
for the half cage nesting, it's like on the front of the cage, like or right here like on the ground. And then there's a nest bin in there also, and there's heat under that and on one side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have heat on so my nest box is back left corner buried, and there's a heat pad the whole length of it on the front, so then it radiates
Yeah.
heat into the enclosure, which is obviously just dirt,
Yeah.
and then radiates heat, and then I stat it via the actual inside of the nest box. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it in a couple of days if she decides to lay. Because I can't remember exactly how much soil I used. I don't know if you guys use liters of soil, but I'm pretty sure I used 400 liters of soil.
I
In
didn't
her
measure, but it was a lot. Like I filled up like half a trash can and then like
Yeah,
wheeled that over.
yeah, it
It was
was
a lot.
ridiculous. I
Yeah.
remember buying like 200 liters. I was like, oh, that'll be enough. And then it didn't even fill up like half the enclosure. And I was like, oh my God. All right.
Yeah.
The nest box was already full up. So it was because I just kept the soil that was in there. And then she has a pond which is the same size as her nest box. So again, that's fine. That's sunken in. I don't need dirt for there. But for the rest of the enclosure, I needed like 400. So I reckon it would have been a good 600 liters in that enclosure without the nest bin and the pond. And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
just ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. Looking at getting those blue green trees monitors from Stephen Kershaw. He is gone. farewell. I don't know what happened there, everybody. I haven't seen, looking at getting those blue green tree monitors. He's back. Hello.
Kicked me out. That was weird.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, we're back. No one panic. We're back. So we've touched on diet, we've touched on heating, we've touched on humidity, we've touched a little bit on breeding. What's some like subtle nuances that the internet doesn't teach you about Dumerils that you feel like people buying them need to know?
You need to have a really humid spot for them, and they don't eat rodents or like stuff like that. They eat crustaceans. I think I forgot to mention I feed them fish too, like silverside fish.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. People feed them rodents and keep them too dry.
Are they pretty common over in the States, or are they quite rare?
They used to be really common, but they've been getting more rare. Like less imports have been coming in. People have been charging more for them.
Yeah. I don't know if you do or don't want to go into prices, but how much is a wild caught in comparison to a captive bred? But if you don't want to get into prices, you don't have to.
Yeah, that's fine. So last time I checked on Morph Market, the cheapest wild caught one was like $1,000,
Right.
and I have mine listed for $1,200. That's what I sell them for.
No brainer then for people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I try to make it. Just like might as well spend an extra couple $100 for a captive bred one.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's fair play to you again for not being greedy, because you could go like 1,500-1,700 easy and be like, well, it's captive bred.
Yeah.
But no, fair play for being like, that's probably sort of similar to what I would do. So fair play for that. So what we haven't touched on is the actual incubation. So you get your eggs that are 1.5 feet down, you dig them up, and then where are you going from there? What's your first point of call once you've got the eggs in your hand?
So I bring like the egg tub that I incubate them in, like over to the nesting, and when I dig them out, I place them straight into that, and then once I get them all, I just take a picture and then put them in the incubator. It's at 84, or the first time it was at 84, and now I have it at 85, and it takes like 190 days at that.
What medium are you incubating on? You're incubating on perlite?
Yeah, perlite, and I've done it in the sim container too, not just on the grid or whatever.
Plastic. Suspended, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got it to work in it, because I've heard sims can be quite tricky for tropical eggs.
Yeah, I mean, I have her last clutch was 8 eggs, and there's 8 eggs in the sim right now, and it's been producing a lot of humidity, which I don't remember the time before, but I've been able to figure it out. But yeah, it seems trickier, honestly, than the other way that I set it up.
Do you use the big sim or the small sim?
It's a small sim.
Okay. Yeah, I've had bad luck with small sims with non-Ackies or Gilleni. Ackies and Gilleni, great. Anything else, no.
How many did they lay? How many eggs?
What, the Ackies or the Gilleni, or?
Yeah, either one.
So Ackies are anywhere between 2 eggs, and I've had 27, which is self-proclaimed.
Oh,
I think that's the world record. Anyone who's beaten it, I've got it on video, right? Come at me.
Dude, that's crazy.
Anyone that's beaten, mate, just on a quick side quest, right? My female Ackie, she laid 27 eggs, yeah. 30 days later, she laid 18 eggs. And then, like, 25 days later, she laid 22 eggs.
Jeez, that's crazy. I don't know how you keep up with that.
I don't want to. I can't.
That's crazy.
But yeah, Ackies laid anywhere from, like, a couple of eggs to 20.
How many will you put in a small sim?
So with the Ackies, I've had no dramas, so I'll stick all 27 in there and hatch all 27.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The only problem I have, which again isn't fault of the sim, but as the eggs start to get bigger, obviously they push each other out the way.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of stagger them. So for the most part, 15, 20 in a small sim is fine. Gilleni only lay between 3 and 8 eggs, so they're tiny clutches. But I've only got Sims aren't readily available over here. There's
Yeah.
one guy that sells them, so I've only got 4 small ones. So with the Gilleni, because they double clutch, I put one clutch on one side, one clutch on the other side from the same female, and then I'll just label the box twice. But like, I know a couple of people with like tree monitor eggs here in the UK have tried in Sims, and the eggs just go bad. Or well, they start to dent in from underneath, which basically means obviously they're not taking on enough moisture. And I think there's a couple of people stateside that have said the same thing. And I've had a couple of eggs that were fertile from a tropical species, and Sims just didn't do them any favors. Stick them into perlite or vermiculite, and they seem to do okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. Maybe one day I'll get the boys on here and they can tell me how to use it properly.
With the first clutch that I hatched, 6 of them were in the sim, and then 5 were in another on perlite, and they hatched within 24 hours of each other. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is mad. I've had big delays with Akis in Sims. I've had like 15, 20 days between first one and the last one.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it was like 3 days from the first to the last.
So about 190-ish days to hatch, yeah?
Yeah. The last one was like 205. The longest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
Are you aerating the eggs at all, or
after like 170, I start to air them out. Like the side of the container will get like water on it or whatever, moisture on it, and I'll just wipe that off and air it out for like 10, 20 seconds, and then put it back.
So for the most part, you just leave them be up to that 170-day mark, as long as they're not getting too wet, and then just wipe it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And how early on are you starting to see like vein networks?
So even at like 3 days, 4 days, you'll see like a little ring on the top of the egg, and then like day 40-ish, you'll start to see like actual veins, and then but you won't see like real like vein structures till like over 100 days.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you still go crazy and candle them like quite a lot, or for the most part now you've done it a few times, you're just like, I'll see you in 200 days?
Yeah, pretty much. I used to take them out all the time, but I kind of just leave them alone now.
Have you ever had any issues with taking them out? Because with Akis, I've had quite a few pop from the exchange of pressure.
I saw a video, I think, that you posted. It looked crazy. It was like 100 days in, I think you said.
That little embryo in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I've never had anything like that.
Yeah, because I think they're a lot more leathery shells than Akis. Yeah, if there's anything to go by Indicus eggs, like the Indicus eggs are quite leathery. So they feel a bit more secure, whereas the Aki eggs literally are almost like it's like a film of skin. And the second I had it, my first ever clutch of monitor eggs, full stop, was Aki's. So the second ever clutch of animals ever. And I was obviously so excited, and I was like, oh, I need to candle it, It was on like day 80 or 90. This was a couple of years ago now. I was like, yeah, I'll candle it, because I liked seeing the growth of the embryo. And I undone the lid, and I only had 8 eggs. No, that's a lie. I had 10 eggs. And then 4 of them just instantly pop on like day 80. I was like, oh shit. And I haven't touched Aki eggs since. I've just left them alone, unless like an egg goes bad, and then I'm like, and that's how that one popped on that Instagram that you saw, because I had an egg go bad, so I opened the lid to get it out. But that's in Sims, and a lot of people are like, oh, you've got too much humidity and pressure in there, because when obviously you open the lid, it causes it to pop. And I'm like, well, I have holes in the lid, and if I don't touch them, I have no issues, so I don't want to change it. But yeah, I have bad luck when it comes to birth. So I'm petrified with Gilleni, because I've never bred Gilleni before, and I currently have 5 clutches in the incubator. I haven't even counted them. I'm just like, just left them alone. I'm like, I don't want to touch them.
Those are probably my favorite Adagio. The one of
They're
sure.
sick, mate. They're
Yeah.
generally like, again, another side quest here, but they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you like ugly monitors because you keep Dumerils. So Gilleni are right up your street because they,
Yeah, I
to
like
look
those.
at, they're not great. Like, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think they're my favorite monitor I've ever kept.
I like their face structure. Like, just their body structure looks cool.
They're like little sausage dogs, but live in trees and
Yeah.
are monitors. Yeah.
The babies look sick too.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
hoping end of this month on my first clutch. 1st of June they were laid, and I think they're about 100 days. So all of June, all of July, all of August. Yeah, so the end of this month, start of next month, I should hatch Gilleni, touch wood, for the first time. And they're like little bandits. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But again, I've got 5 clutches, another gravid female, so I've got 6 clutches. Don't count them before they hatch.
Damn.
But then I want to raise them all up separately because all the females are unrelated, so I don't want to mix them.
Damn.
So I need 6 raise up enclosures for Gilleni.
Yeah.
Can't you use forced air incubator? I've got a couple of fans in my incubator. I made it out of a wine fridge. But yeah, Gilleni, mate. Yeah, it's just fan on the top, fan at the back, heat mat down the back, and it's just a wine fridge. That's all I've done with a stat. Simple. But they're like dwarf tree monitors. I find Gilleni. They generally act like dwarf tree monitors. They're pretty cool. You should get some. 100%. They're sick. I don't know how much. Yeah. I think they're quite expensive stateside. I think, but they're pretty cheap over here. Like pretty cheap over here.
That's cool.
But they're a great monitor, and I think they need a bit more fame because they very much are underrated monitors.
Are they're seasonal breeders? Like they only breed it in like spring or something?
Yeah. So I've only had them since January, so how longevity of breeding, I can't be 100% sure, but every one of mine is double clutch bar one female, who's gravid right now, so she should double clutch as well. But pretty much to my understanding, you winter them, get them right down, pretty much shut them off for a couple of months. And then as you start to bring them up and through February, March, you start to spray them a bit. It comes into, as we're coming into spring, they have their wet season, and at the start of the wet season, they'll start to breed. Then they'll breed for anywhere between 2 and 4 clutches, I've been told.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't get more than 1 or 2. But the Australians I speak to tell me they'll go 4 or 5 times. And even then, some Australians have had trouble getting multiple clutches from them. But I think it's humidity because I keep mine quite humid at the moment. In the next couple of months, I'll be ramping down. But I spray mine twice a week and only a light mist, so it can all burn off throughout the day. But I think a lot of people just go, oh, Gilleni, blistering hot Australian desert. But also, it's probably like 90% humidity, but also like a dry humidity rather than like a rainforest humidity sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they can have 4 or 5 clutches. I've had 2 clutches from each female. We'll say that because, like I say, one is gravid. And so one laid on the 1st of June, the other one laid on the 3rd of June. And then 43 days later, the first female laid again. 45 days later, which pretty much means the exact same time. So 43 days for her. The second female laid. And then on the 1st of July, the 3rd female laid. So 45 days later after that will be the 14th of August. So technically in 8 days, if my maths is correct, she should blade basing on that 45-day sort of thing. Because they all seem to be around. And I know a couple of other guys over here that have had them lay like in the same nest box on the same day. They all seem to be like clockwork. Yeah. So you should get some. You find someone to swap your Dumerils for Gilleni. You won't regret it, mate. Gilleni are honestly.
Someone, he's trying to breed them, and he said if he gets it down, he'd be down to do that. I'll probably do that. That'd be sick.
The Gilleni are very much they're very underrated. they do act like dwarf tree monitors, and they're so like full of attitude, and they're very what's the word? Personable. Like I don't handle
Yeah.
mine at all, but they'll come right out onto you for food, and they're happy to chill, and they'll come right onto your arm, and you can just. My male, strangely, is a twat, but the three females, they do it like with them, and they're always out. He's quite shy. He hides quite a bit. But the females, the only thing I will say with Gilleni is keep them in bigger groups. Females will fight, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I'm moving a female on because I'm not interested in just pumping out eggs and having as many females as I can. I'd rather I've got a 1.3, so I'd rather a 1.2 get on than a 1.3 don't get on but give me loads of eggs. I'd rather just have friends and harmony and no eggs because I'm not keeping for any other reason, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've sort of forgot what we were talking about before that though. Something to do with Dumerils. That's fine. We'll see what the
I think it
chat's
might have
saying
been
for a second.
incubation.
Yes. Yeah, you were right. We were talking about incubation. Why did you kick up? Why did you kick up the incubator 1 degree? Because you were 84. What made you change to 85?
So the green tree pythons, they incubate at 87 for the first 40 days, and then at day 40 I switched them to 85.
Mm-hmm.
And so the incubator I have now, the top is 85. It's divided in half, and then the top's 85 and the bottom's 87. So
Okay. Yeah.
the green trees would probably be fine at 84, but I don't know. My uncle has, he's always done the 87 to 85, so I just have been doing that.
No, that's fair enough. I'm pretty much 84, 85 here for my stuff. I don't know. For me, I don't want to go much above 86, but I'm not in a rush. And I know snake people incubate hotter, but they're shorter days as well. So
yeah.
I
think
what's
too
your
hot
opinion
is
on
bad.
Tristus? Too hot. I think too hot's bad because the babies hatch quicker, so I'm weaker.
Yeah. They're cool. What are the common name on those? Like
Black-headed or
black-headed.
Yeah,
those are super sick. I don't think I've ever seen one actually in person.
I miss mine. I used to have them.
Yeah.
They're a cool species. Hello, thank you for stopping in. That's all right, we'll forgive you. Also as well, hello Rick, I haven't said hello to you. And also hello Serenity Dragons. I've been saying hello in chat, but here we are. I don't think I said hello to you. Hello Amy. Any questions as well for I don't want to get the pronunciation wrong because it's Britain. Aiden.
Yeah.
I say Aiden, but it's Aiden, isn't it?
Yeah, Aiden.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because over here it's Aiden. But yeah,
damn,
Aiden. Bloody UKians. Any questions? Then drop them in the chat now. But yeah, so just a couple more things on the Dumerils then, because a couple more things that you won't find online. Like, so they need a real humid hide. They're going to need a real humid spot. Don't feed them rats. Is there any more sort of people you need to know before you buy sort of things? Any cons? Anything that you think, I don't know, something silly like really smelly poo? I don't know. Is there some things that would put you off them?
They only really poop in the water. I prefer that because then I just have to change the water instead of like pick it up in the cage and stuff. But yeah, some people don't like that. I have to change the baby waters every day because I keep a few in each cage, and then the adults I do every other day. And they just mess it up pretty much right after.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Don't ever got to tell me six mangroves.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's an English thing, Paul. We say Aiden up north. Yeah, but you're like, you don't even live in, you know what I mean? Like, over in the south, it's Aiden, which is weird, but it is what it is. How do you keep and breed your green tree pythons?
So I keep the adults in 2x2 vision cages. Kind of see right here. And it's 85, 86 under the heat panel on the hot spot, like on the perch. and then on the cool side it's like 79 or 80. 81 even. The ambient's like 81-ish cage. And then during breeding, I'll them down a little bit, drop the thermostat 3 or 4 degrees, and so at night they'll get down to the low 70s. And then I feed the females a little bit heavier at that time, and pair them up. And if they lock, I've had success. The females will build follicles and vitellogenesis or whatever we call it, and then ovulate. Yeah, it's been pretty straightforward with the green trees. Just cool them, feed a little more. But yeah, I keep them fairly simple, like how most people do, just with this perches and the kind of sterile type setup.
Easy then.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever let a female maternally incubate, or have you just incubated every clutch?
Yeah, I always have done artificial, but that'd be cool. I don't think it would be too hard as long as you can keep the temp stable.
Yeah, I like people that try that sort of stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's cool to sort of let their brain do what they would naturally do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What size Viv? 8x4x4 is what we said. How big do they get? 3 to 4 foot male to female. Fee's telling me that I'm wrong. Aiden is Aiden, and Aiden is Aiden. Right? Jesus Christ, leave me alone. Are those the babies behind you on the wall? Cool setups.
Yeah, right here. These are the baby green tree pythons.
Baby green tree pythons to your right.
Yeah.
Adults to your left. Dumerils behind.
Yeah, and in front of me.
And in front. Is this a separate dedicated room that you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, changing gears, but it's just popped into my head. So, you were saying that you and your brothers were into reptiles with your dad. Have you got 2 brothers, 3 brothers, 1 brother?
I have 2 brothers and 1 half brother, so pretty much 3 brothers.
Are they older or younger?
One's younger, and then one's older, and then the half brother's older too.
Okay, so you and your brothers and your dad are into reptiles when you were younger, and you had your Argus monitors when you were 4.
Yeah.
How was it like? I don't know what you keep. Do your family keep any other species, or is it just now the Dumerils and the green trees?
Yeah, nobody's me, but I mean, Doom is kind of like half my dad's. I guess the green trees too, but
Yeah,
I care for them all and everything. But yeah,
so what
he
was
still
it?
interacts with them and stuff.
What was it like having to like change gear then and have more of a streamlined collection? Do you think it was necessary, or is it just sort of the way it went?
I think it's definitely better to have like a collection focused on just a few species or just one even. I think that's the best way to do it. But right now I think I have like 6 species or something.
6 species, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
What species do you have? Dumerils? Green trees?
Green trees. Those are all one species, but they're subspecies. And then I have a pair of rhino iguanas.
Oh,
I don't really
sick.
post them a whole lot. Yeah, they live outside.
Yeah.
And then I have a pair of box turtles that live in there with them, actually.
That's cool.
So, what's that, 4?
Yeah.
And then recently I was gifted a Barron's racer. I'm not sure. You know what that is? South American coluber.
Yeah.
So I guess I have
Did
5.
you get the blue ones or the green ones?
Yeah, it's a blue one. Yeah. So I guess I have 5 here.
Are you planning on breeding the Barons?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. It's a young male, but I don't know.
They're pretty cool. The blue ones,
Yeah.
I don't know how rare they are in the States, but I'm pretty sure they're quite rare here in the UK.
They're pretty rare over here. more than the other ones.
Why not? You're doing green trees and Dumerils. You might as well add another one to the roster.
I might try it out.
Good morning, Mr. Frizzles. How are you doing today? What do you do for quarantining the snakes and the monitors?
So I haven't really had to quarantine any monitors, just because I've had these for so long. They've been together. I don't add any new ones, but for the green trees, if I add a new one that's not from my uncle, I put it in my room, which is like way separate from this room, and I keep it in there for a couple months, and just make sure it's 100% straight before moving it in. But I only have like 3 snakes that aren't produced by my uncle or me.
Has he? I think you said at the start, but my brain. Has he got out of it now? Your uncle?
He still has some old animals, but he's out of breeding them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still has a decent sized collection.
He's only got the 5, Michael. Right, miscounted. Unless he's got a secret he's not sharing. Well, let's imagine the 6 species. What would you want next if you could get something next? Obviously, you said you potentially want Gilleni and you potentially want rudicolus, but like, is there a species that you do have your eye on, even if it's a one day in the future kind of species?
I guess probably lace monitors.
Oh yeah, they're nice.
I really like laces, but I don't know. Yeah, horn lizards are really cool. I don't know. Do you know what those are?
Yeah. Can you keep them? You can keep lace outside where you are, no?
Yeah.
They're not hot enough. Yeah.
I was thinking even with the Gilleni, like, I feel like that would maybe work. It doesn't get too
I
cold
don't know.
here.
I mean, Frizzles is your best man to talk to, but the Gilleni. So well, this could be another question as well. Like nighttime drop in the winter, my room gets down to. I'll have to convert it for you because I don't know what it is. My room gets to. Sometimes it gets down to the high 50s, and I don't heat any of my enclosures, so they're all exposed to high 50s, and I've had no detriment on any of my species. So I don't know how cold outside gets for you.
So in like right now it's like 70 at night in summer, but
yeah, that's fine.
In the winter, the lowest I've seen it is like 34, 35.
Yeah.
It's gotten really cold, but normally it's like 45 on
45.
cold nights in winter.
I don't know about Gilleni, but that is 7 degrees. Mr. Frizzle, if you're still here, I think that would be a bit too cold. But if you had like some sort of heated box that they could retreat and sleep in, I guess my only concern would be if they're idiots and they don't want to go in the box. And they just like wedge themselves under a stone or a log.
That's how my rhino iguanas were at first, but they learn fast like to go in the hide box.
Yeah. I imagine if the Cyclora are alright with it, you'd be able to get away with. Again, I've never been to California, so I don't know the climate. But I imagine if you can get away with it with rhinos, you'd get away with it with a few other species. To be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, lace would be sick.
Yeah.
Trade your way up to a lace YouTube series. That would be a good YouTube series, actually. Breeding reptiles, trading my way to a lace. That would be quite fun. Can't do it. Can't do it here. Here last night was 2 degrees, and I live in a range. They live in old mulga stumps that insulate them. There you go. So 2 degrees is colder than what you were saying. I forget that I have to convert it. So 2 degrees was 35.6.
Yeah. But in the stumps he's talking about, it's probably like
70s.
40s.
Yeah.
70s.
Probably like I don't know. I was just saying it's like proper warm.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah.
Definitely warmer than
I don't know.
The outside temp.
Yeah, 100%. I can't, like you say, I think you're probably right. It can't be much hotter. It might be like 10, 15 degrees.
50s maybe.
Yeah. I should come to Cali. I've heard, now, we have a Californian on, so you can correct me. But I've heard California isn't all what it's cracked up to be.
Um, it's really cool. I mean, like, the scenery's cool. There's like all different kinds of scenery and stuff, and habitat or whatever. But I don't know.
Freezy is saying you're right. 10 degrees is about 50, so it would be about 50 in the stumps. So
Okay.
yeah, it's about 50 in the stumps. So there's
Yeah.
food for thought.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like, I could even like try to replicate the stump with some kind of heating in it. That'd be
Yeah, an
sick.
installation or something. Yeah. I think social is
SoCal.
like SoCal. So, yeah, whatever. SoCal. They don't have bears there, so it's different. How's the traffic?
It's horrible. Every day.
So if I was to come to California, other than seeing Gary and captive bred Dumerils, what's the selling point? What's gonna get me to California?
I don't know. Like the San Diego Zoo's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then they got parentes.
Yeah, they have Prenti's and Komodos and Greys
Oh, okay. I'm
and
coming.
Lace. They have a few things.
Is there a
And they
Disneyland
have
in
merchants,
California?
actually.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got good there. I've been to Florida Disneyland twice, but I've never been
Oh,
to
sick.
California.
The
Maybe
Florida
one
one's
day.
bigger.
Yeah, I've been there at 12 and 15, and I remember chasing a nose. I don't remember the 12 one. I remember the one when I was 15, which would have been about 14 years ago now. I remember seeing a nose, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best!" Because I don't know if you know, but in the UK we have 6 native species of reptile: 3 snakes, 3 lizards. That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I found every single native reptile and amphibian. We have 6 amphibians as well. 3 newts, 3 newts, and 3 frog/toads. Very consistent over here. I found every single native bar 1 snake, which I'm hoping to find this year. And then I've found every single native. Friday's joined late, so you have to bear with him. But do you keep outside? So you keep your cyclora outside, and you're planning on keeping the Gilleni outside.
Yeah. And the box turtles, they live in with the cyclora.
Have you done anything to modify the cyclora enclosure, or do you just sort of leave them be? Like, is it just a cage?
It's like a chicken coop, pretty much. It's 10 by 6 by 9 tall, and there's like the left side has like a big platform that they can like elevated that they can climb up to. But yeah, the ground is like it's like full dirt on the ground. There's a big hide box on the right, but yeah, there's like live plants in there and stuff.
It's pretty sick.
They can get away from each other.
Have they bred or not yet?
Nah, I got the female just a couple months ago. Actually, I traded a baby Dumerils for it.
These Dumerils are like leveling you up, man. I told you, YouTube series. You'd been YouTube rich, like trading up to a lace. That'd be sick.
Yeah, but she almost looks like she's gravid, but it would be her first year of breeding.
They have quite big clutches too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple people here that breed rhinos. They have quite big clutches. Yeah. My Fee, my girlfriend, she really wants a rhino. She's not really into reptiles, but she really wants a rhino.
Yeah.
You don't have to give away your location or live on the internet. But what part of California are you located?
Orange County, Southern California.
Okay. Gary's
like right next to LA.
Gary's in San Diego. I don't know if that's close to you or not.
Yeah, it's not too far. A couple hours.
Dumerils, I'm going to remember this. Wild caught, 1,000 to buy from our man here, 1,200. Cheaper at half the price. See?
There's some wild caught ones for even like 1,200.
Madness.
It's crazy.
Aiden's captive bred ones all the way. I'm in Santa Monica. Everyone. Oh, I could go to play. That's Alex. You've reminded me. I could go to play Pokemon Go. on the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only reason I'm going to end up going to California. I mean, I don't know what this podcast turned into, man. But everyone, we're going to start wrapping up in the next like 10, 15 so minutes. So if there's any final questions, drop them in now, or forever hold your peace, because we're not leaving you, and we're not just leaving you on a dead end cliff like this. But I'm just letting everybody know. In the next couple of little bits, we're going to start wrapping up. So any final questions, drop them in now. There was something I was going to ask. Yes, that was right on the temperatures. Do you just drop your dumerils at night to do you let them just get cold, or do you give them nighttime heat?
So in the winter, sometimes I have to do nighttime heat. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll put in a ceramic heat emitter, the ones
Mhm.
that give no light. But in the summer, I don't. Summer and like spring and fall, it just gets down. So like the lowest will be like 69 or 68.
Okay, so you don't like them going below like 68.
Yeah. I
Which
think they would be
is
fine, but
20 degrees. Yeah, I think so. But like I say, whatever you're doing clearly working. So it's that
Yeah.
same old thing. I think if you got to the point where your male started to fire blanks, then you might have to drop him a bit cold just to do some spermatogenesis. But 20 degrees is still quite cold. Especially if, well, I say 20 degrees for you, 68, especially if they're used to chilling around like 85 sort of thing.
yeah.
It's probably more. I have this weird thing, like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm keeping mine too hot, and sometimes I'm like, I'm keeping mine too cold, and I don't know if I know the perfect temperature. And I look at the wild, and I'm like, yeah, but sometimes it's like stupidly hot in the wild, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
stupidly cold in the wild, and it's hard trying to find what works. Did you play around with your temperatures a lot, or did you just sort of be like, right, I'm gonna guess this, and then you sort
I
of kept
think
it at that?
before I was giving them, like I was keeping them too cold of a cold side and too cold of a hot spot. But
Yeah.
I think you have to just give them a good range of temperatures. Let them choose.
Yeah. How do you find the 8x4x4s work? Do you think that's a good size enclosure, or in an ideal world
Yeah.
one day you'd like to upgrade them?
Ideally, I think 8x6x6 would be sick. But
Mm-hmm.
I think 8x4x4 is plenty for one,
Yeah.
or even a pair when they're together.
Yeah. Based on them being the same size as Mango, yeah, 100%. I agree. And then lighting as well. I'm kind of crazy on lighting. Over here in Europe, we like lights. Are you running lots of lights on them? Do you keep them more, I'm going to use it for the term of swampy, dingy, or?
So I use Philips halogen bulbs. I think it's
Mhm.
R38.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what it is, R38.
Yeah.
And there's two of those. They're like 70 watt, and then that's what the basket is for. And
Mhm.
then on the cold side, there's a UV like T5 strip,
Mhm.
and that's all the lighting I do. Just a
Okay.
heat and then that UV strip.
Okay. I would suggest,
Yeah.
don't have to, move the UVB to the
Okay.
halogens,
Okay.
because obviously when they bask,
Yeah.
they're not getting any UVB.
Yeah.
So they're still getting UVB, obviously, because you've got it in there, and they can
Yeah.
just go, oh, right, I want some UVB. But when
Yeah.
they're actually
They
sitting and
do it.
basking,
It's funny.
yeah,
They will sit under the UVB sometimes.
because they can tell. So I've done a
Yeah.
couple of experiments with my animals, and I've done LEDs, just LED, and 100% of the time they will go and utilize that, and then be like, "Well, I'm not getting warm. What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then I've done like a UV separate and a halogen separate, and like you say, they can pick what they want.
Yeah.
I'm not against giving them the choice. I just find coupling it gives them that bit more lighting spectrum, so they're more like, "Oh, okay, this is where I'm sort of doing it." Just play with it, see what happens, and then message me and go, "Well, you're a twat because they don't do anything now," or be like, "Oh, actually, they're basking a little bit more, or they're
Yeah.
looking a little bit more this or that." Just play with it, but
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'd say, because a lot of people do split them. And then the scientific community, not that I class myself as either, I'm still trying to figure it out as much as anybody else, but they'll say it's best to couple the halogens with the LED, with the UVB, because then they're getting all of it in that one turn. So if you're bored one evening, mix it up, see what happens. If not,
Yeah.
like you say, like mate, I'm not going to question anything because whatever you're doing clearly is working. Because the amount of eggs and fertile babies that you've been popping out is ridiculous. You know, like I think anybody can look at you and be like, "Wow, this kid clearly knows." And as I said to you earlier, I'm not saying that degradingly. I'm just British. This kid clearly has got his shit together because clearly you're smashing this species and. I'm sure there's so much because as someone who's kept a mangrove monitor with not a lot of care out of there and trying to figure all the stuff out myself, I know probably what you've been through. And I think it's quite hard for people to fathom if they just have like an Aki or a bearded dragon. And there's so much good and bad care on those species. But when you've got nothing to go off, for you to then turn around in the space of a year and a half to then be able to produce how many clutches have you had now?
Technically 4 hatched, and maybe
2
like
before
10 laid.
one's
I would have to check.
10 laid. Damn. Yeah, that's mad. Was
would
your
have to
female
double check.
laying before you got your male, or was it
No.
your first clutch when you paired them?
Yeah. I think. Let me see. So 1, 2, 3. 4. So she's laid 6. So I've got 8 total. She's laid 6, and then the other female laid 2.
That's sick.
Pretty sure. The one female might have laid 7. I can't remember.
And you're a big note taker, or you're not all in the noggin, or is it all notes?
It's all on my phone.
Yeah, same as
and
me.
the actual notes app. Yeah.
My phone decided to wipe itself last year out of nowhere, and it wiped itself to its last backup. And I never back my phone up ever.
Yeah,
I do now, but I never did. And I lost all of my notes, so I only have notes now for this year. Since December, because all my other notes. So this is why it's kind of good that I post on Instagram and stuff, because I can get a rough idea when she's laid, because it's all like a little personal note catalog. But I post too much, so going back for everything, I was like, oh fuck this. But yeah, so how important do you think note taking is?
I think it definitely helps, like, get a good idea of just time frames and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but it definitely helps out. I recommend it.
What would you say is the biggest? How can I word this question? The biggest testament to your success. Like, what do you think is the number one thing why you've been so successful with this species?
I would say probably just having the right people, right information, helping me out. Yeah, I think without Kai's help and Ben Hour's help, then I would probably still be pretty clueless. But I don't know.
No, that's fair enough, mate. It's good to have mentors. Like I've said it publicly on here before. I'm kind of upset that I didn't have a mentor. Now I have a whole bunch of people that I can tap into. And I've said it again publicly that I owe 100% of my successes to these people, and I owe none of my failures to these people. So my failures are for myself to be made, and the successes are theirs to be sort of claimed. But on failures, is there any mistakes that you've made outside of the breeding or with the breeding, but just anything as a general, like mistakes you've made that one, you're happy to share, and two, that people are probably going to make? For example, like feeding rodents. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Not really. Just, I used to keep them too cool and feed them the wrong stuff. But if you give them the right options and feed them the right stuff, then I think that's pretty
Yeah. Just trying to think of a couple more like good questions in the sense of that are going to help people looking to acquire them. Do you know the rough lifespan on them?
I'm pretty sure they've lived over 20 years, but I'm not 100%.
Okay, because
I'd
I
have to
know
ask Ben.
most say like 15, 20 years. Like most
Yeah.
monitors are just sort of labeled with that, but I just didn't know if you'd
Yeah.
um just as like a random one as well then. What's your opinion on social media?
Um, it's pretty cool. I mean, it can be annoying sometimes, but I don't know. It's cool to share stuff, and see other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find it more of a blessing or a curse for yourself?
I would say probably a blessing.
Yeah.
Helped out. Just some people
Tap into these
finding
people.
out. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Do you think the babies are more arboreal than the adults?
Um, Not really, but I don't know. It'd be. I feel like I would have to pay a lot more attention to that. But actually, no. I would say the babies are probably more terrestrial. They hide under stuff, like, on the floor. I don't know though. I recently got cork tubes for them, and they've been using them arboreal. Yeah, I
Because
don't know.
like Komodos, they are like arboreal for like a year or 2 years. They're like living trees.
Yeah,
um,
I've heard
the
that.
mystery person saying same as me. Get the UV near the halogens and ideally an LED in the same zone. It's closer to full spectrum. They naturally go to it. So Scandinavian Guanas, who's in here, he's been messaging me quite a bit about lighting, and he has Griseus monitors, and I'm pretty sure it's his Griseus. I don't want to be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's his Griseus. It's on his Instagram,
Yeah,
and he's recently introduced full spectrum lighting, and now his Griseus are chasing and hunting down roaches, whereas they weren't before. Um, but the LED as well as the UVB and the halogen are all together sort of work in this symbiotic magic of science and pixie dust that allows these
yeah,
reptiles to see properly. Um, so I've said it on here before, and I won't bore everyone with the science. I forget the exact numbers, but like a halogen and a UVB is something like 6,000 lux, which is basically just a level of how bright it is. It's like 6,000 lux. Outside on a cloudy day, obviously you won't know, but in the UK, when it's like a miserable, dreary day, it's like something silly like 15 or 20,000 lux. So it's like
yeah,
4 to 5 times brighter on a miserable day outside in the UK than it is on a normal day for your lizard in the enclosure. So
yeah,
if people look at my enclosures, I go overkill. So for example, Mango's enclosure, I have two 100-watt LED floods. I have two 39-watt UVBs. I have one 50-watt massive LED spot, and then I have two halogens, like for one enclosure, because I'm a twat. But
yeah.
in my opinion, that brings it much closer to what you'd be seeing in the wild. And back to our point of Mr. Scandinavian Guanas, he couldn't get his Griseus to eat these roaches, and he put these full spectrum in, and all of a sudden he puts the roach in, and these lizards are now hunting, like chasing down hunting roaches. And whether it's the LED reflects off the roach's carapace, like in a certain way the lizard's eyes can pick it up and perceive it as prey, I don't know, but it's very, very, very cool and interesting.
Yeah.
So I would suggest it if,
Yeah,
like
I'll
I say,
try
if you're
that.
bored, and my DMs are open all the time, mate. So if you want to go through any form of lighting, I'm not the best, but I get it a little bit.
Yeah,
So if you want to go through any like lighting shit, please feel free to send me a DM.
sure.
Or anyone listening, full stop, because I'm an LED nerd and I love LEDs for your reptiles. And I think for more than anything else, it's just that let's see it ourselves, because a lot of keepers, like I could say to anybody, "Oh, I've seen this and I've seen that, and it's amazing," and you're like, "Well," and then you see it, and that's for me is what it's the same as with Mr.
Yeah,
Scandinavian Guanas. He put his male Flavy in with his female. under the full spectrum, and his male was a bit like, whoa, 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 like he's never seen her properly, and
Yeah.
he was like, I can't believe it. Like I just didn't think this sort of stuff
That's
would
crazy.
happen. It's all on his Instagram, and he documents it all and writes it all down on his Instagram. So yeah, that's the only. All I would say is move the LED, move the UVB, and if you can get an LED, but like I say, feel free to message me, mate. There are ways around not buying expensive ones because no one's got spare money nowadays. So just send me a message. But yeah, we're wrapping up soon, guys, because we're near the 2-hour mark, and
Yeah, my phone's about to die actually too.
it's fine. Okay, we'll do the wrap-up questions real quick, and then
All
I'll. So, one piece of advice you could give someone joining the reptile hobby.
Give your animals the right options. Most options, I guess. Give them options.
That's a good one. We haven't had that one. That's a good one. I like that one. And then, this seems strange because I think you're the youngest person I've asked this to. Because normally it's like philosophical life advice, and not that you can't have it because you're young, but normally I would ask older people. And I don't know how to ask the question because I always change my mind. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, not reptile related?
Probably just do what you love.
Yeah.
Do what you like to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's probably the best.
Perfect. Well, like I say, I'll say some nice things about you until your phone dies. But thank you for coming on, mate. I wanted to have you on. I wanted to have you on ages ago. Write down the bloody questions, Paul. The questions have to change for every guest, Michael. But I wanted to have you. I can't remember how long ago I reached out to you. I was like, "Oh, you're down to come on." So I've been following you in the shadows, and I've reached out now and then, but I'm terrible at it. But I've been following you in the shadows for ages, and like it's really nice to sort of see someone doing so well with a sort of weird, unusual, unloved, uncommon species, you know, because you're clearly putting the time and energy and money into these species, and you can tell that they're really your thing. And the fact that you're giving them to zoos to like show off how cool they are, and you know, and you're not being greedy. Bit creepy for what? I don't know what's going on. This sort of always happens, but the fact that you're not like pricing yourself out, going, oh well, if you want captive bred, you have to buy mine. It just shows clearly that you're following on the 18-year-old in the shadows. Oh, I see. Don't worry, guys, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. You're of age, anyways. I've made it worse, but I don't care. But either way, I'm sure that you're very proud of yourself for the work that you're achieving with the species. But I just want to say, mate, like full testament, hats off to you for like really
appreciate it.
Really. And I like that you do document stuff as well. I follow you on Instagram, and obviously I don't use Facebook because fuck Facebook, but I know you post a lot, and I know you aren't shy to share. So I also appreciate that from you, because I know some people would take this and be like, well, I'm the only one, so let's run with it. So fair play to you.
Yeah.
But thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry it's been a bit everywhere, but I've had not much sleep because my child has had night terrors, and he's been up all night the last 2 nights, and then the light smashed and stuff you don't care about, but my brain's a bit fried. So thank you very much for bearing with me through this podcast, mate. Hopefully it's been good for you too.
Yeah, no problem.
Right, everyone. Thank you very much. I didn't say to you at the start, I normally forget. In a second, I'm just going to click end broadcast, and then we'll be offline. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. All of I have to think. I'm going to say Aiden. All of Aiden's links are in the description. Please go and follow him. Check him out. Yes, it's Grisius. It is the Grisius. Please go and check him out. Give him a follow. To show him some love. And we didn't share it on here, but go and check out the beautiful orange head lizards. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next week for another podcast. Love you all. We're going to end it pretty much bang on the 2 hours exactly. Peace out.